David. Come on. Alright. Yo, it's me, it's the SCOTT, and I'm back with you to give you my review of the 2016 film Alien Covenant. Steelbook out. Alright then. So, one thing I see as a pattern in this Alien franchise is there are stars in this. And I ended off all the ones in the previous one. Here, we have Michael Fassbender, Danny McBride, Catherine Waterston, Kelly Hernandez, who was in Blair Witch, Billy Crudup, Damien Bakir, Jussie Smollett, famous people. So, this takes place many time after the events of the previous film. It doesn't pick, like I mentioned in my previous review, it doesn't pick up right where the other one left off. There was a short mini thing that sort of connected it, but it doesn't, it connects, but I haven't really seen it, so. I know about it, but so, this revolves around a ship called, what else? The Alien. The Covenant. The Covenant is named this ship. And I almost did the Alien Covenant, that's why I stopped. The Covenant is what it's called. And they are bringing colonists to a new planet to live. Also, I forgot to mention the name James Franco is in this. He's in it for 5 minutes. He dies. He's just asleep the most of the time. He doesn't really have any lines or anything. He's just there. Probably because Danny McBride was in it, so they have him do a cameo. He plays Daniel's wife. Daniel's his wife. Daniel's his husband. She's the main character with her, Catherine Waterston. Even though she's not really the captain after this. But he was the captain, and then Billy Crudup is the captain. They arrive on this strange planet where they get a signal or something. And on this planet there's this toxin, this black floating goo now, that goes into people. It kills 2 people off. Of course. It was one who goes in one guy's ear and it goes to another guy. We get backbursters in this one called the Neomorph, which is pretty cool. And then we get one that's close to a Xenomorph. I think it's called a Protomorph. I don't know. But they find that there's someone else when the Neomorph is chasing after them. So I should start. The first scene in this film shows David being created. He's been created and he's talking to a young Wayland, which they brought back. Guy appears, thankfully without the nasty, ugly old man makeup. And so they're talking. He's talking to David, and he says that David is special. Basically, they've retconned David and saying that, he's an android, but he does have feelings. Basically what they're saying here. And so that's basically what they're trying to say. And so, but this brings up something with David I wanted to know. So I mentioned in my review for the previous one why he was wearing a spacesuit, because he's an android, a synthetic. He doesn't need to have the stuff to breathe. He can, breathe without it. And here, so they have another android that looks just like David. His name is Walter. And they meet David, and when they find him, or when he finds them, I should say, he has long hair. He's a synthetic. His hair should not grow. It doesn't work that way. He is fake. His hair should be fake. It's one of the things that bugs me about Terminator is that, we get old, our skin gets old. We don't get old, our skin gets old. And, they came up with that in Genesis, and then it was the same thing in Dark Fate, which I don't hate Dark Fate like most people do, but I think it's stupid how how long was David there? He didn't age, but his hair grew out. And then in that In that little prequel short with him and Shaw, her hair grows out. I know he's just a severed head, but his hair was normal length. And we see him cut it. And then the blonde is gone. And so, what bugged me is that you couldn't tell the difference between him and Walter. And that comes in handy later, but he should have cut it later. Because, to me, they should have been more suspect of it being David than it being Walter by the end. I don't know. But yeah, so Billy Crudup dies. Everyone except for, I almost said Shaw, Daniels, and Tennessee or T, which is Denny McBride's character, which surprisingly, Danny McBride didn't die in this movie. It's a sci-fi action serious film. Danny McBride is pretty good in this, and he doesn't die. That's just phenomenal. He's the pilot of the Covenant and gets it stuck on ship. And so David explains that he and Shaw arrived on this planet. And there were, all the engineers lined up. And they look different, but they could be a different class of engineer, And he dropped the black goo or whatever all over the place. And it killed them all. Well, it's not really the black goo, it's that stuff, whatever goes in the ear creates the things. It did that. But it looks like that, but it's supposed to be the black goo because they all get sick. But the black goo on them is supposed to create life. So I don't understand what it was exactly, but yeah. So David basically killed everyone, and he was left alone on that planet. And we find out later that he actually killed Shaw too. And she was probably dead before they even got to the planet. I don't know. But if they did that prequel thing, I don't think Scott needs to go back and do what it goes between there. I don't know. Maybe it could. I don't know. But I'm just saying. So we don't really find out any more about the creation of life. But people were upset about some of this. Like, oh, we get more alien stuff in it. But it's like, it's not what we wanted. This is not an alien movie. You want an alien movie. We want aliens all over the place. We get some alien stuff, but it's not the xenomorph. It's not really the xenomorph. The closest we get is this thing, which is on the ship. And they kill by blasting it out the thing. The air duct, or what do you call it? Like the original films. It's an homage to the original film, I guess. So, well, they try to make it back to the ship at the end, and Daniels and Daniels and Walter make it back to the ship. And we see that David stabbed Walter earlier, but Walter says he was able to subdue David, and they get in the ship, and they need to find the colony, and so he puts Walter, I'm almost ruining this. Walter puts Daniels and T to sleep. And as Daniels is ready to sleep, she and Walter talked about building a cabin when they get to the new colony. And she goes, Walter, when we get there, will you help me build my cabin? And he gives her this look like he's confused. She's like, the cabin by the river. And he just kind of gives her a confused look. And she's like, it's where it clicks in her head. David? And so, yeah, it was David. There's this little switcheroo. That's why he cut his hair. He switched the He killed Walter, and he switched, and it was David. And he's like, I'll tuck in the children as he's putting her to sleep. And he's got face hugger eggs that he's putting in the thing. Now, could this place they're going to be the place? Now, they call it by a name. But for all we know, by the time we get to Alien, it could be designated as that planet that they go to. So this colony that they're headed to could be the very same place. And I'm hoping if they do a third one and they connect it to this, they just say it's that, shut the fuck up, and they can finally connect it to the rest of them, to the other ones, and people can shut the fuck up. Because this came out, and it's called Alien Covenant, which means it should be a completely alien movie and not connect to Prometheus. But then other people are saying, oh, it needs to be a sequel to Prometheus, so you don't know what happens after that. And we kind of got both of that mushed together. People got pissed because there was Prometheus stuff in it. And it says Alien. It's not Prometheus 2. It says Alien Covenant. So it's an alien movie. We don't need no Prometheus stuff. Well, you kind of do need that because it's a sequel to Prometheus. It's a sequel to Prometheus. So it has to connect to Prometheus in some way, shape, or form. You can't just put a new alien movie out there and say it's a sequel to Prometheus. There's got to be connections. And it's very well shown that David is the star of this new trilogy or whatever they're doing, these prequel films, whatever you call them. So, yeah. This is not bad. I'm going to say that Prometheus was a little better, though, so I'm going to give this a 6. But it's not bad. So what are your thoughts on Alien Covenant? This is a short one, I guess. No, you know what? Just a quick thunderstorm didn't last long. I know this is like 2 hours later, but I'm just saying. So what are your thoughts on Alien Covenant? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. See you in the next one.